Hi everybody and welcome back to our nature journal. There's been a bit of a gap whilst things were going on my end, life, etc. But we're back to it, and I'm hoping that most of you will have received your pack by now and you can be following along. So this is the paper that came with the pack, that's the sort of ledger paper, and I've folded it up and up so it actually fits in our journal, and then I've folded it in half, which is fine as far as it goes, but I was thinking that maybe I wanted to fold it that way, so I had a blank bit here that I could decoupage onto and inside put a tag. That's my thinking. But first thing we need to do is just ink around it. I really am today working on sort of 12 square inches, as is the norm, I know. So back to the vintage photo, and my blending brush. Ooh, squeaky squeak, and I'm just going to go in around the edges, just using this plastic mat just as protection on my table. I've got a pot of water here beside me, and as I'm doing this it's making the water lap up the sides of the container. Let's just hope it doesn't spill out. In fact, I think I'd better move that. I don't know where to, but I'll find somewhere. Put it on the bookcase. Right, that's one worry less. So this is quite heavily stained tea-dyed paper. Mr. F did it for me with by rolling a tea bag over the surface of the paper, and you get such a lovely texture. Really, it's gorgeous. Oh, that is squeaky, isn't it? It's horrible. I'll hold on to it and then it won't do that. So I like the sort of quite heavy inking around the edge. If you don't like it, don't do it. Simple as that. Sometimes I don't ink at all. It just depends what the project is. But I think for nature, I think... so which way is this folding? It's folding up there. So I need to ink this edge too. I've had so many ideas whilst I haven't been able to craft, and now of course you come to sit down and can't remember any of them. That's kind of the way of the world, isn't it? It is quite thin, this ledger paper, but I think by staining it with the tea bags, it's got slightly more body to it. I wouldn't say it was a heavy bodied paper by any stretch, but it will do the job nicely. It's a bit of a change from just plain card and book pages and stuff. It's just something different. So there we are. Just going to put another little bit on this end. Right, okay, so that's done around there. Are we done around? No, we're not. Just need to do this bottom bit here. And it looks rather more grungy than most of my journals look, I must say, but I quite like it. Right, so there we are. We've managed to ink around there. So what I'm going to do now is, because I'm sewing in my book, and you definitely don't have to, but I'm going to sew straight across here. And we can just stick this down if we want to. I'll just get out my Elmer's Extreme glue stick, which will be really more than sufficient for this quite thin paper. So just a little bit along there, just to stop it annoying us when we're putting things in and out the pocket, really. Stick that down. Lovely. So the next thing to do is fold that up and then stitch all the way around it, if you're going to do as I'm doing, if you're adding stitching. Okay, so that's us all the way around. Let's chop the ends off, put the lid on the glue. Is always a good thing to do also. It's an absolutely beautiful day here, a beautiful spring day. I've got washing out on the line, which always gladdens my heart. I like to see a nice row of washing. I don't know why, I just do. I think it's because I'm not having to pay for the tumble dryer, which is a very expensive way of drying your clothes, really. But what else can you do in the winter? So I'd say that we are definitely out of winter now. Little lambs are in the field. It's just lovely. Right, so just these two ends here, I'm just going to take a little bit of glue on my finger and just finger and thumb actually, and just rub that over there, those two ends, just to stop them untangling. They probably wouldn't anyway, but that's just a fail safe. Right, let's have a look. Let's bring this journal in and see. So this is as far as we've got, really. We've got that nice envelope, the cover made, lined, foxy, this, and the same in the back. But I think this is going to go here. And the question is, do I want it to go, so that's the inside and that's what you see, or do I want it to go that way, so this is what you see and that's the inside? There's a puzzler. Oh, maybe I should have worked this out first. I've got quite a lot of tags here, you know, that one. So I think I'll put the tags on the inside and fold it so I can see the outside. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to fold that down that line that we already had. Just crease that in. So there we are. So that's going to go into our journal like that. Lovely. That's great. I like that. It's something different. We haven't had that already. So, and it looks nice against the birds of prey there, the hawks or eagles or whatever they are. I don't really know. So my idea is that if I can find this is my napkin. I know some of you have got different napkins, but either way, this is very white and that's cream, but I think we'll be okay. So what I intend to do is just tear out some smaller pieces, you know, of the flowers and stick them onto the front. So that will be the bit that we come to. So let me just tear these out. And I'm going to tear them out whilst the napkin is all together, all three plies, because I find it easier that way. I know some of you like to use water around the image that you want. That's fine, you know, do whatever, whichever method you like. Do what makes you happy, is what I would say. I think these will look all right. I hope these will look all right. It's a lovely little butterfly there. I might come back for him. There's some teeny tiny little bouquets here. I'm going to save those. They look lovely. I hadn't seen them before. And as I say, your napkin may well be different from mine. Just select some parts that you want to use. So as some of you may know, I have started a mini album and I'm really loving it. It's very, very different to journaling. You'd think that because they're both paper crafts, they'd be really similar. And I mean, they are, so there's some crossover, etc. But they're different. It's a different discipline, I guess. And it's one I'm enjoying learning. It's very exact. And I kind of like that sort of thing. Right, so I've got that one. That might look quite nice there. Let's get rid of these. And I've got a nice red one that I'm also going to tear out. I did promise you I would show me doing everything to this journal, so this is part of it. Tearing these out. I don't dislike doing this actually. I don't find it tedious or anything. Quite like it. It's the sort of time that you don't have to concentrate too much. We were just talking about that the other day on the live, saying just how much you have to concentrate when you're actually journaling. And you know, if you're measuring things and you need to put certain things down before other things, etc., etc. Oh, my life, it can get tricky. Right, so I think I've got a blue one as well. Yes, I've got a blue one, so I'm going to tear it out and see if I want to use it as well. I'm going to tread carefully around these teeny tiny little bouquets because I think they might have a use at some later stage. Maybe not in this journal, but maybe in some future journal. Let's pop that to one side then. It was exciting getting my box out today with all this stuff in it because I'd forgotten some of it. Right, so I could put it like that. Oh, could put it like that. I don't know. I don't know. I think that. I think I like that. Right, so let me just get my glue, which is matte medium, and my glass mat, because it's messy. I don't think there's room for my glass mat on there. I'll just have to make room. There we are. So let's get these layers off the back of here, which sometimes can be easier said than done. Other times they just give themselves up, like this one. Yay! I'm hoping this is going to be all right with the white napkin and the quite heavily stained paper, but we'll see. We'll see. These are coming off really quite well. Sometimes it's not that easy. There we go. Right. I'll just give this a shake actually, because this is a very thin one. Usually matte medium isn't as thin as this. I think I must have had the Friday afternoon version. Oh, it's all squidgy around the top. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to put some out on my mat. I'll need more than that, but I'll just go gently, gently to start with. Now, the way I decoupage, I'm sure you've all seen it before, but I don't put any glue on the paper. First, I find that grabs it and then you get wrinkles. So I just hold it on with my hand, load my brush up with medium, and then from the centre, go outwards. Like that. More medium. Make sure your brush is never dry, because that's what will tear the napkin. It'll cause friction. So always go from the centre out. So you're chasing those air bubbles out, and it'll allow your napkin to lie flat. Like that. Well, that looks all right. I mean, it's a bit wrinkly, but the napkin isn't wrinkled. The page is very thin and it's wrinkled because it's wet, but it will dry out smooth again, I'm sure. If not, we can always iron it. Don't iron directly onto this glue. Always make sure you do it on the back and that you've got something protecting it, because it'll melt and it'll stick and it'll make a right mess of your ironing board. It's not what you want. Oh, that looks really nice. Really nice. Nicer than I thought it was going to look. It is much better not putting any glue down first. You just don't get wrinkles. You'd have to try really quite hard doing it this way to get wrinkles, I think. So there we go. That's that. When I've finished, I might go over the entire, once it's dry, I might go over the entire page with the matte medium, so it all looks very even. Looks very nice. But I'll leave it to dry first. So there you go, you can see there's not really any border at all around those flowers. So I'd quite like to do the same on this page. And I'll go ahead and do that actually, because that was part of the deal, wasn't it, that I showed you everything. all going hard, because matte medium is really kind of acrylic paint with no colour in it. That's basically what it is. So it will dry on your brush if you leave it. So don't. You'll wreck your brush. And you need quite a soft brush for decoupage, because if it's rough, it'll tear the tissue. Bobby's having a lovely time because it's so nice outside. The back door's open, so he can run in and out as he wishes. So he's having a really nice time. He's looking out the window, and anything that he thinks needs further investigation, he's off outside to have a look. And the unfortunate thing is he's so short, being a Shih Tzu, that he can't actually see anything. But he enjoys it. Keeps him busy. That's that little butterfly on. Pop the other one on. I know some of you use glue stick for decoupage. It's fine. Use any method that you like. I'm just showing you mine. It works for me. I'm pretty sure it'll work for you too. Because I know some of us are a bit shy of doing decoupage because it just doesn't work. It gets wrinkly and looks nasty. This way will work. Have faith. So there we are, that's the back of that done. And like I say, when it's completely dry, which it isn't at the moment, I'll probably go over the whole page with matte medium just so it's all unified. But that looks really pretty, I think. Let's see if I can open this. No. So I'll just clear that matte medium up that's there. Can't get the top of the bottle, so there we go. I'll put my brush in the water, get rid of my don't know whether to get rid of my glass mat yet or not. I want to make some tags and something along here. So what shall we make the tags out of? Good question. I think some cream paper is a good start. It's always a good start. Yeah, and I think it'll show up nicely against that. I'm going to give this a quick waft with the dryer before we start working on the other side. Okay, so I think that's a little bit drier. Well, it's got to be a little bit drier. Yeah, I mean, it's not bone dry, but I think it will withstand us. Blimey, look at that. The moisture that's come through there. Okay, right, now I think we're sorted. No, we're not sorted. I need to dry this. I'm going to hold this up actually, because the moisture's just going through onto the glass mat and it's not helping it dry at all. Right, now we're cooking. Okay, so the tag, what sort of size do we want? What shape do we want? You know, lots of questions. Well, this piece of paper that I have measures, let me just tell you what it measures. It must have been a remnant from something else that we'd cut, and it measures just over 9.5 by just over 8. So if I was to fold that in two, then I'd get two decent, I'd have to chop the top off a little bit, but I'd get 2 nice sized tags to go in there. So let's do that. I'm hoping these are straight. Fold it in. Just cut off across the top. Don't know where my scissors are. I'm just going to cut this. I've lost my scissors, but never mind. Just going to cut down here. Nope, that's not working. Let's get the trimming board out. There they are. Mr. F's just found them for me. It's funny, isn't it, how we can use one pair of scissors better than any others. I mean, these were really cheap scissors. I think I might even got them from IKEA, to be honest. But they really, really work. Okay, so there we are. We've got 2 things that we're going to make into tags for in here. I don't want them to be too heavy because this is light paper. So I'd ideally like these cut off about there. Okay, so let's hold those 2 together. Let's get one of my new contraptions out, which is this little guillotine. I haven't really got the hang of using these yet, but you know, you've got to get the hang of it sometime, haven't you? So I just want it off where that pencil line is, which I think is there. Wow, right through the pencil line. That's good. Pop that back out of the way. Just keep hold of those. You never know if you might need them. And I just want to make the tops of these tag shaped, obviously. So let's get my tag template out. It's just an old credit card that I've cut corners off. They're actually different. That's different to that. So line it up on your papers. Cut it off. I think I just moved that there, which is not what I wanted to do, but never mind. Let me cut this one off. Okay, so there we have 2 fairly chunky, fairly beefy tags that we can probably go to town on, actually. So let's see what we want to do with them. First thing I want to do is ink around them. That's definitely the first thing I want to do, and I want to just use a piece of paper to ink onto, because if I use that board again that I've just used, I haven't wiped it down, and there's the chance that I'll get ink on the back of these, which is really not what I want. So back to the brush and the vintage photo, which is ink. I'm not using the distress. Oh, that noise is awful. Right, there's one. The back will need inking as well at some stage, but I can do that. You don't need to see me do that. I'm pretty sure you don't. It's the same as this, just on the back. However, if I am going sewing, I'd prefer to have the back inked before I do that. So maybe I do need to do it. Sorry guys. A lot of quite mundane jobs today, isn't it? Right, so I'm just going to flick that over and go again. I'm tapping it off before I start, otherwise you get a really dark bit. So I'm just tapping it off up to the side on the paper. And then coming in. And these brushes are fabulous. If you don't own one, I'd really recommend that you get one. They really are good. For blending, they are fantastic. I used to like the sponge eggs for blending with, but these are just, they're a cut above. Right, so that one's done back and front. This one just needs doing on the back. And I fancy making these tags really nice, really jazzy. You know, a bit of work on them. Don't just want a regular tag. So there we are. I think that's sufficient for that. So let's have a look and see what we can put on them. Let's go and have a look at our papers. Where have I put them? Here they are. So I've got that one, which I could use. That's a possibility. That's not out of the pack. That not on the paper pad. It's out of the pack. There's that. It's a bit wishy-washy, and this is too dark for my liking for this job. This is strawberries. They're nice. Autumn leaves. Oh, the collage one is nice, isn't it? That collage one. It's very nice. And it's only got autumn leaves on the back, which I'm not a huge lover of, as you know. So, let's get that one out. This is the problem of working in confined spaces. Now, the other thing that I want, somewhere here, there are... I can put that one back because I don't want that at the moment. There are some squares. Freddy Fish Face. No. 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 It's on the back of that. No. Ah, here they are. Oh, look at that. No, I don't think that's big enough. No, that's the cover, isn't it? With the sayings on that I don't understand. Thankfully, Jania does. There are some squares somewhere, and I don't know where they are. And this pile over here. Yeah, here they are. So these were in your, in the paper pad, should I say. Right, so what I'm thinking is we can cover the tag, thank you, with that, and then use one of these squares to put in the middle with maybe a little bit of green paper down underneath it. Yeah, that's the plan. Just watch and see if it comes together. Who knows? It may or it may not. Anyway, the first thing to do is to cut out these two tag shapes. I love him. Can I get him in? Yeah, I think so. I don't want to get that border in really because I haven't, it's not going to be the border for the tag. Right, I'm going to draw around that with my pencil. So hopefully I should have the stag and assorted other stuff in it. And then I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off it all the way around. And then glue it and stitch it. So that's one. Can I see that? I think so. Mostly. And this one, I really like the foxes and I really like that stag. So let's see if we can get those in. Where does that one come to there? Yeah, so we're all right there. Yeah, that's great. Let's do that. And that leaves the bear and stuff like that I really haven't got much interest in. But that's okay. Oops. Right. Let's cut these out and then, as I say, we'll slice off 1/4 inch all the way around. So I hope I can see my lines. I think these are quite close together actually, closer than I thought. Well, that's alright because 1/4 inch is coming off it anyway. This one's a bit taller. This is a really nice page, this collage page. Save me having to make a collage. Oh, I'm just getting the snout of the hedgehog in. So, yeah, that's going to be there, but 1/4 inch less, and I think that'll look lovely. Actually, let's cut the other one out while we're doing it. Then I'm going to put my guillotine to the test and see if it'll cut off 1/4 inch. I'm going to cry actually if it doesn't, because I'll have wasted this page. So beware, there may be tears. And then this piece, whatever's left, can go back with the other papers, because there's still a useful size on here really, if wanting strips or anything like that. And along there. Lovely. Right, these pieces I'm not keeping, they're going out, as is, but this I'm keeping definitely. And these can go out too. I think I will have a use for those. Right, so let's get the little chopper out and see if it wants to chop off 1/4 inch all the way around. I don't know, maybe I have to tell it where 1/4 inch is. Yeah, I think so. Oh my goodness, it's a bit nerve-wracking. really see overly well because the light's shining on it. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. The offcuts look like they're 1/4 of an inch, if that's any help. But I guess we'll soon find out. I'm just going by that line there. Right, let's have a look then, see what we've done. Oh, that's not bad at all. That's lovely. That looks really nice on there, doesn't it? I'm sort of lining it up with these lines on the grid. That might be not enough, but we'll see. I'm to get my head at a really funny angle to see it because the light's just shining on it. Right, let's see if we've got that right. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. So there are no tears. I'm just going to have to go and get a drink, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Okay, right. I've got over the coughing episode and I've got my tags and I'm just going to ink around the edge. Not blended like this, just inked as we would normally ink. I think my pad's falling apart. They do, don't they? They don't last forever. But what does? What does last forever? I'm really pleased with the way that guillotine has worked. It's brilliant. Right, let's get rid of these little bits of stuff from there. Now I'm going to stick this on quite lightly and I'm going to sew around it. But I also want to add something else to it, which are those squares I was talking about earlier. And I also want a strip of something. And this is kind of coming from my mini albums. It's just an idea I saw somebody do just on a page, and I've just changed it to work on this tag. So there we are. So because I'm going to stitch it, I'm really just going to put the glue fairly centrally, as I don't want to put too much glue through my sewing machine. It's really good and it doesn't really complain about too much, but she's getting to be an old girl now. So let's put that on as centrally as we can. Like that, I think is good. Yep. Let's press that down in the centre. So it's got a bit of stickability. These are gorgeous tags, aren't they? Gorgeous. This is collal glue that I'm using. Same as always. Well, same as pretty much always. Let's see if I can get that down fairly centrally. A little bit further across there. There we go. across that way. Fair enough. And just press that down in the centre where we've got it. Now then, what I want to do is I want to use one of these squares in the centre. Yeah, I do. Let's see what else we've got that looks nice. Those look nice, don't they? Or I could have ferns. I could have ferns. No, I like the flowers. There's a shocker, right? There is a shocker. Right, so I've got these two sorted out. And what I want to do really is just leave a very thin green line around them, just so they're framed, but not much. So I'm just going to carefully cut around these, leaving some of that green line as a border, just to make them pop a little bit. So there we are, that's one. Don't know which way's up, that way's up, I think. Same with the other one. So I'm not leaving much green at all, just enough. You wouldn't even really notice it, I don't think, but you'd notice it if it wasn't there, if you get my drift. So there we go, that's that. I think that way must be up. So I'll just get rid of these little skinny bits of nothingness. Now what I want now is two really thin pieces, really thin. So what did I do with that green that I had before? The dark green, here it is. This. And I am literally going to cut two strips off it down there. You're thinking I've gone mad, aren't you? But I think it will look nice when it's done, that's the hope. That's why I'm doing it. So out with my fancy new trimmer, my Fiskars trimmer that the people who bought me a coffee paid for, and I'm very grateful. So I really do just want thin, and I think that's a 1/4 inch mark there. I might take it across to 3/8 actually. I don't know why it does this, it just does it. Right, so that's one, and then I want, actually that's just mucked up on the edge, so let's just get rid of that. So 3/8, excuse me. Lovely. And then another one at 3/8. I really am very much getting used to these trimmers and guillotines and whatever. I'm not used to them at all, as you can see. But that's okay, that's fine. Right, so let's pop that away in the remnants. Shut that up. Balance it in a crafter launch style. And what I want is to put this, I'm going to lose most of my things, aren't I? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put it over to that side in order to keep these behind it. So let's do that. Let's just ink around it. know why I'm inking the top, because it's going to be cut off. I just want to get rid of this white core of paper rather than sticking it down, because it does catch your eye, it definitely does. So it's a bit of a pain to do, but it's more of a pain if you don't do it. I'm going to go out in a while and go to the post office, and post some things off. So I want that just where the decorative paper ends, and there as well where the decorative paper ends. So I'll just draw a line across there. Let's just check we're okay. Perfect. Right, so I need to stick that down. Let's cut the other one first, and we'll be at the same stage on both. Make life a bit easier. So where do I want this to be? Probably down that side as well, actually. So I'll put this, that will go with it, about there. And just ink around it. Quickly. Bobby out the garden, telling someone off. There's ducks that wander around out the back, and he really likes bossing them around. He's not cruel to them. I wouldn't let him out if he was cruel to them. Just likes to see what they're up to. So that goes there, and that's going to get cut off the top along there. Okay, so let's glue those on, and I think the thing to do is, I'm just going to put those in the bin. Actually, I can't see me using them again. The thing to do, I think, is get a quilting ruler out, and it just helps me stay straight. You might be able to do this by eye. Good for you if you can, but I absolutely can't. So I'd like that to go about there. Let's just check that if that goes there, I've still got room for my square. Not really, it needs to come across a bit further. So I'll bring it across about 1.5 inches. That will go down there. Then that will go there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some glue on the back of here. And place it down, right on the bottom of the paper. And use this is too long now. Use the quilting ruler to buff up against, like that. Now this is just a bit too long. Oh no, it's not, must have been the way I was looking at it. That's a bit too long though. What's going on? I do not know. That's great. I'm going to have to ink that bit because otherwise it's going to drive me bonkers. So let's just check again. So it doesn't look straight to me. 1.5 inches. Anything but straight. There we are, that is straight now though. Lovely. Same with this one. It's over 1.5 inches. They don't have to be the same, it just so happens that with my papers they are about the same. Yep. Glue on the back. Way too much glue on there. Oh, marvellous. I've cut it too short. How can that be? Well, I have. There's no way around that. It's too short. I could cut it in the middle, actually, because I'm putting that square in, aren't I? So let's cut that in the middle. This is a workaround. This is a workaround problem. So let's get that again at 1.5 inches. There we go. Right, let's put this up at the top. This is ridiculous. And this at the bottom. And you'll see it was that much short. Don't know how that happened, why it happened, but that's the workaround anyway. Seems to work quite well, really. So just firm that down, and this one, which is in one piece. And let's just ink around here just to get rid of that white paper. Let's all do the other one, seeing as I'm doing it. There we go, right. So it's now up to us where we want to put this. Which way did I say was up? It's hard to tell, isn't it? I think that's up there. So I'm thinking I'm just going to bring this in. I want to preserve as much of that stag as possible. So I'm just going to bring it in about 1/4 inch there and glue that down. Ooh, that's the bottom, the other side. That's really nice. Ooh, I like that better. What's the other side of that one? Yeah, I like that better. Oh dear. So a bit of glue around the edge. Not too much or it'll squidge out. Doesn't serve any purpose really. So let's get this lined up. So about 3/4 inch, I'd say. Right there and down about there. Yep, lovely. That looks lovely. That is a really nice tag, I think. Just leave it to dry before I put the bone folder over it. I don't want all the glue squidging out on me. No, I'm going to use this one. If you've got too much glue at the corners, just wipe it off. Or, you know, along the sides, wipe it off because it squidges out and it's horrible. Right, so let's put this on at 3/4 inch again. Just there. And I am going to lose some of this, but I'll try and lose as little as possible. Is that the right way? No, I think that's the right way. So there we are. Press that down and then bring this in and give it a good press down with a bone folder. I could have sewn round that before I put it on. Might have been a good idea actually, but I didn't. You can hear the air underneath that you want to get rid of. Lovely. Okay, so what I'll do now is sew around them and then we'll pop them in the pockets and see what they look like. Okay, so I've sewn around those. I'm just going to chop the tails off. And I'll pop a little bit of glue where the... I have reversed it, everything, you know, I mean, they should never come out, but just in case. So I use my glue stick, just get some on my thumb and my forefinger, and just wipe it over the ends of the stitches. There we go. So there's our two tags. I just need to put something on the top. I think they look really nice actually. I really like them. They're very in keeping with the book. Let's have a look at the lace situation. What have I got? What have I got? All sorts of everything. That's a very nice fine one. I could probably tie a bow with that actually. That's a possibility. I was looking for a sort of thicker one if I had one, but I'm not seeing one. Unless there's one in my drawer. It's possible. There's all sorts of things in my drawer. Yeah, I think that's it there. Yeah, there we are. And what I'm going to do is just cut this off. I'm going to put it over the top and cut it off. That's the wrong side. And just sew it on. So we've got that little tag at the top. So yeah, that's what's going to happen with that. And then if you've got a charm or anything like that, you can put your charm on and it'll look charming. Let's cut another bit off. Same sort of size for the other one. You can staple them on if you've got a stapler. I'm not a great lover of staplers, but not for any specific reason. I don't know, just don't like them much. I don't really want to use collal for this, but I will. So I'm just going to put a little piece of blue there. It's fairly central, I think. And just a little bit on the back, just to keep it in place whilst I sew it. So fold that over. You don't want too much of a tag, it's not necessary. Stay. Doesn't want to stay. Let me hold it then while I sew it. Just going to put this onto zigzag. Okay, that looks nice. Do the same with the other one. As I say, if you've got a charm or something, I think it would be a really good place to use it. But I didn't send you any charms in the kit, so I probably won't put one on, because that would be unfair. This doesn't want to stick at all. Collal isn't the perfect glue for fabric, I must say. I just had it out and I thought I would try it. Oh, I don't know, it's trying to stick. Let's have a go at that. That's okay, that's okay. Right, let's trim the tails off. I did put a lock stitch start and finish, so I'm quite happy that these stitches will stay where I've put them. So there we have it, our 2 finished tags. It's taken us a little while to get here, but I think they're worth it. They're really, really attractive. I've lost the top. Oh no, I haven't. I was just being prematurely down. So this is our page. This is lovely. I really like that. And inside will go our tags. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. We could, if we wanted, add something along here. That might be a bit of an idea, actually. I might just do that. Just some lace, some thinnish lace, probably. I think that's all that's needed. I really do. Let me see if I've got any fabric type glue. All purpose. well, I've got some Fabri-Tac, can't say fairer than that. It hasn't been open for a long time, so let's hope it wants to play. Oh, look at that. Never known Fabri-Tac be so good. And just along the other side. Like that. So I'm going to start off the page and just using those stitches as my guide. I'm just going to go straight across. And this little bit of ribbon that I had, lace, is just enough. I think that's plenty. I think it sets it off really very nicely. I'm pretty sure the Fabri-Tac will do its job there. So let's just trim off those ends of the lace. And on the other side. And go in the bin. And I'm just going to take those tags out and just flatten these stitches down on the back. It just pushes them back down into the paper, because the back of stitching is never, I keep saying this to you, you must be sick of me saying it, it's never as pretty as the front side, but if you push it down, it goes some way to make it look a bit better. So there we are, there we have it. Right, so there's our tags. Let's bring the journal back in and have a look, see where it's going. It's going here. Like that. So that will be the page that you see, and then you open it up and that's there. Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? I really like that. And then at the back we will have this. And then when you turn the page, you'll have that. So yeah, I mean, it's taken a little while. We haven't really been rushing, but I do really like the finished results. So as you go through the journal, you've got Foxy, you've got tag. I might just leave that plain actually. And then you've got this lovely decoupaged ledger paper, really nice. Really in keeping. And turn it over and you've got this lovely tag. Hooray! And then we've got the book page. So next time, I think there's another, I think there's one of these that needs to go in at some stage. I might not put that there next to that actually. But if I turn that over, this would be a good place to put it. So we'll see what we come up with for that. That's for the next time. So thanks for joining me. As ever, I really appreciate your company. I hope you've gained some information, and I hope that, look at this journal already, he's chunky. He's going to be really chunky when we finish him. So I'll see you again very, very soon. Try and keep up if you want to, or if you want to watch all the videos through first. I don't blame you, that's probably a sensible thing in case I change my mind about anything. But thanks for joining me, and I'll see you very soon.